the campaign to destroy Tony Abbott. Voters are being fooled. The former Liberal Prime Minister is facing an incredible, well-funded campaign to force him out of Parliament on Saturday after 25 years there. This campaign is driven most of all by the far-left Get Up organisation, an activist group funded by radical unions like the CFMEU. It claims it has 600 volunteers in Abbott's seat of Warringah, trying to get him defeated. I really have to say, this Get Up now operates almost like a cult, a global warming cult. Just listen to this Get Up meeting called to rally against Tony Abbott. Freaky. Get Up in Warringah is backing a former skiing champion and lawyer, Zali Steggall, whose campaign manager was on a secret encrypted Get Up messenger app, which suggested Get Up tactics to defeat Abbott. Steggall insists, though, she's not tied to Get Up. She insists she's really a kind of Liberal voter, one that's upset that the Liberals haven't done more about global warming. Well, enter the ABC, which is pushing exactly this image of Steggall as just a new age Liberal, not at all a puppet of the left.
She has Liberal credentials, Conservative credentials, and she may appeal to Liberal voters.
But that image of Steggall promoted on the ABC, promoted by other media outlets of the left, is false. No, she's not a Liberal voter. She herself has admitted she's never voted for the Liberals federally. And her ex-husband, David Cameron, told the Daily Telegraph he knew her as, quote, always a Greens voter. In fact, Greens campaigners in Warringah are indeed helping to hand out Steggall's how to vote cards. How nice of them. And some Labor campaign workers outside our High Commission in London are doing the same. So it seems to me absolutely clear that Steggall is, in fact, a candidate of the left. Nothing like a Liberal at all. In fact, her global warming policies are even more extreme than Labor's. That takes some doing. And I suspect that is why her campaign is being pushed by journalists of the left, including Sydney Morning Herald columnist Peter Fitzsimons, but, more importantly, by many journalists of the supposedly impartial and taxpayer-funded ABC. The ABC's hatred of Tony Abbott, who as Prime Minister cut their budget, stopped their carbon tax. That hatred is so strong you can almost taste it. You sure can hear it.
Tony Abbott, already the most destructive politician of his generation, now intends waging war on what he calls environmental theology. If this tells us anything, it's that Malcolm Turnbull can't do anything to appease Tony Abbott on climate action.
Remember, the taxpayer-funded ABC is supposed, by law, to be unbiased because all taxpayers are forced to pay for it. But in Warringah, it seems to have become an active player. Sally Steggall has had several friendly interviews and profiles on the ABC, including this puff piece, selling her as the candidate Warringah has been crying for.
The 44-year-old barrister and mum is a political novice, but she's exactly the kind of candidate local groups have been searching for.
In fact, that ABC journalist there, Andy Park, was so embedded in the Steggall campaign that he was in the car with Steggall and she actually drove to the press conference to announce to the rest of us she was going to run against Tony Abbott.
We're on the way to your press conference to announce your candidacy as the independent for Warringah. Are you ready for that?
How is that for friendly access? And now the ABC's Four Corners team, they've spent a lot of time on the Steggall campaign lately for a documentary on, obviously, how she beat Tony Abbott. They've spent only minimal time with Abbott, and that suggests to me how invested the ABC is in having Steggall beat him. They need her to beat Abbott, not least for this documentary. And, you know, it kind of shows. Take last night, Sydney ABC TV, 7 p.m. news. ABC presenter Juanita Phillips, partner of a former Labor minister, gives a soft interview to Stegel, but a grilling to Abbott, one negative question after another.
Well, if you do hold on to your seat on Saturday, will you rule out now having another crack at the leadership?
And just to top it all off, a former ABC staffer, producer Susan Moylan-Coombs, endorsed by former ABC presenter Jeff McMullen, is also running as an independent in Warringah, also attacking Tony Abbott. I have never seen the ABC try so hard to destroy a candidate at the election. Maybe Pauline Hanson? No. I have never seen, more to the point, so many activist groups, not just Get Up, but the ACTU, climate groups, environment groups, more, run such a ferocious and well-funded campaign to destroy one political candidate, one man who's actually served his country and his community as a politician, as a Prime Minister, as a lifesaver, as a volunteer firefighter. So why is Abbott this exception? This object of such abuse and hatred? Because he is one of the very few politicians, and the most potent, to stand against this global warming craze that has made so many intelligent Australians mad. And for that heresy, Tony Abbott must be terminated. You know, it is also for that reason that it is so important that Abbott instead survives on Saturday, that the bullying campaign against him is exposed as a fraud and, most crucially, as a failure.